The Aboriginal Head Start. In urban and northern communities, AHSUNC program is a national community-based early intervention program funded by the Public Health Agency of Canada. Introduced in 1995, AHSUNC focuses on providing culturally appropriate early childhood development programs for First Nations, Inuit and Métis children and their families living off reserve and urban northern communities. More than 4,600 children and their families participate in the program every year at one of the 128 program sites across Canada. AHSUNC sites are locally managed and activities are locally designed to allow for flexibility in addressing the unique needs of each community. Sites typically provide structured half-day preschool programming for children 3 to 5 years of age. The Aboriginal Head Start Initiative, AHS, made its debut in Canada as a promise outlined in the Liberal Party's Red Book, Creating Opportunity. Launched in September 19, 1993, a commitment was made and then confirmed in January 18, 1994. Speech from the Throne. During 1994, Aboriginal community consultants took place in 25 cities across Canada, involving 300 Aboriginal organizations, friendship centers, women's shelters, children and family service organizations, etc. And 400 discussion papers were also distributed to Aboriginal organizations across Canada, of which 40 provided written responses. AHS was developed primarily on the information gathered from the cross-Canada consultations, as well as a child development research, including research and evaluations in the American Indian Head Start program. The 4-year-old pilot phase of AHS in urban centers and large northern communities was announced by the Minister of Health Canada on May 29, 1995, with a national budget of $87.3 million. This holistic education program for Aboriginal preschoolers and their families has 6 mandatory program components as follows: parental involvement, culture and language, education, health promotion, nutrition, and social support. These components were designed to help give children positive self-esteem, a desire for a lifelong learning, and the opportunity to develop their full potential as young people and throughout their lives. The National AHS Principles and Guidelines, developed in 1996, outlined the parameters for the initiative. After a lengthy consultation process with AHS projects across Canada, this document was revised in 1998 October. The Aboriginal Head Start Initiative principles and guidelines have been developed to provide the basic fundamentals for the initiative. These have been designed so that Aboriginal Head Start projects will strive to achieve excellence while meeting or exceeding relevant, applicable, provincial and territorial child care preschool standards and regulations. Regionally and locally developed projects will follow the national principles and guidelines to ensure program quality and consistency. This allows for celebration of the diverse Aboriginal communities and their cultures across Canada, while simultaneously meeting children with similar experience that will encourage children to take initiative in learning and foster their desire for lifelong learning.
Aboriginal Head Start provide a learning environment which focuses on play-based activities. Focus on early childhood development, such as language acquisition, motor skills, school readiness, social skills, and self-esteem. Promote and provide activities that support the holistic development of each child. Recognize that indoor and outdoor play activities include more than just play. For example, opportunities for learning and having ceremonies. Include exposure to Aboriginal languages as determined by the Parent Council. Complete regular progress reports, observational assessments for each child. Utilize best practices in education for Aboriginal children. Support children's constitution of knowledge through interaction with their environment and people around them. Support children's natural curiosity to explore their world. Promote and model problem-solving skills. Promote creativities and artistic development.
The goal of the Aboriginal Head Start Initiative in Ontario is to foster the holistic development of each child. This will be accomplished through encouraging the spiritual, social, emotional, cognitive, language, and physical development of each child. The Aboriginal Head Start used the How Does Learning Happen in these outcomes: spiritual development, social emotional development, cognitive language development, physical development. Under the spiritual development, it increases the understanding of traditional Aboriginal culture and values by including elders, senators, traditional people in their ceremonies, teachings, and stories. Foster respect for the environment and encourage a healthy, balanced life. It encourages and models respect and sensitivity to differences in values, culture, race, gender, families. Social emotional development. It fosters empathy in amongst children, adults, and others. Model and encourage children to express their emotions in a safe and caring environment. Foster a positive self-image and encourage respect for the body and for self. Foster an understanding and respect for the unique aspects of all cultures and languages and for physical differences in all people. It promotes the development of unique and meaningful relationships through their extended family, community members, support staff. It promotes and models positive, effective problem-solving skills. Under the cognitive language development, it promotes the love of a lifelong learning for parents and children. It provides a variety of school readiness experiences that develop cognitive concepts such as numbers, colors, shapes, and letters. It promotes emerging literacy skills like reading books, writing centuries, posters, symbols. It supports and promotes the development of children's first language. Emphasize the importance of developing and maintaining Aboriginal languages. Plan experiences that will educate children about Aboriginal heritage and their stories and folklore. Provide a variety of materials, experiences to enhance children's innate creativity and curiosity. Provide experiences that support and promote positive children's play. It and identify play problems and facilitate productive play. In physical development, it provides activities that foster a fine and gross motor development. It provides a balance between indoor and outdoor activities. It also provides experiences that combine music and movement, such as drumming, dancing, and singing songs. It also promotes traditional cultural relevant games and activity. It encourages healthy eating. How do they document and or assess learning? They document children's learning through photos and narrations and share it with families through websites, documentations on the wall, and newsletters home.
The image of the child, the Aboriginal statement of belief and values about children. While First Nations people, Métis and Inuit have distinct cultures and languages, they also share common beliefs, values, and histories. It is with this in mind that the statement of belief and values about children was written. They believe that children are a gift from the Creator. Their children have a right to live proudly as Aboriginal people in the land of their ancestors. That children have a right to learn their respective Aboriginal languages and histories, and adults have the responsibility to pass on the instructions that the Creator gave in the beginning of time, as are reflected in our languages, cultural beliefs, and cultural practices. Each child is part of what makes a community whole. It is the essential for children to develop meaningful relationship with elders, the carriers of knowledge and history, that children under the guidance of elders will learn to love, learning throughout their lives. That adults are community role models who are to teach children how to live a good life. that children deserve the opportunities to gain knowledge and experience of how to live a good life. Children acquire knowledge by watching, listening, and doing, and adults are responsible for encouraging, guiding them in all those activities. Children, through being loved, valued, and encouraged, will gain the courage, the strength, and the wisdom to use power of good mind and spirit in all that they do. Children have a right to enjoy opportunities that education offers. Children have a right to live in healthy, self-determining communities that are free of violence.
And community engagement in Aboriginal Head Start program. The social services component of Aboriginal Head Start represent an organized method of assisting families to assess their needs, and then providing those services that will build upon the individual strength of families to meet their own needs. A. Some of the activities that the social support staff may use to assist families to meet their needs are community outreach, refills, family needs assessments, providing information about available community resources and how to use them, support that is provided by elder, ceremony makers, and gatherings. B. Make resources, funds available to support parents to gain skills which may be achieved through the joint contribution of project and parent-driven initiatives. C. Projects must provide culturally appropriate traditional parenting courses. D. Projects must coordinate and plan specific workshops, field trips, and other activities based on the needs of the families. E. The social support staff will provide support for individual families and or primary caregiver to follow through with their child or children's learning. And social support needs such as medical, dental, hearing, speech, immunization, health cards, birth certificates. Also there is other programs such as Canada Parental Nutrition Program, Community Action Program for Children, Aboriginal or other child and family services, drug and alcohol treatment centers, friendship centers, health centers or hospitals, Métis organizations, Aboriginal housing, Aboriginal women's centers, parent resource centers, toy leading libraries, and schools. There are three principles of parental involvement in Aboriginal Head Start program. First, parents are the child's primary teachers and they have the most important influence on the child's development. All the children benefit when their parents are actively involved in their development and education. Second, critical to the success of any intervention prevention program is what the parents and family do to shape the child's growth and development. Third, the Aboriginal Head Start initiatives is based on community empowerment. Projects are locally designed and controlled, community-based and holistic, and recognize cultural diversity.
Aboriginal Head Start is a program for Aboriginal children that inspires, respects tradition, supports and encourages lifelong learning of Aboriginal children in urban and northern communities. The program focuses on children the ages 2.5 to 6 years of age. As a program, their main goals are outreach support to parents of Aboriginal children, helping the young ones prepare themselves before entering their first year of school, support in using services provided within the community such as health, education, social and other services, more parental involvement within the community, preschool and child activities that help development before the child enters school. Aboriginal curriculum is based on a cultural curriculum that develops around seasonal themes by using media such as cultural stories, books, and legends. The start of the curriculum kicks off in September, where the main focus is on teaching and educating names, nations, and clans. The start of the year is a head start to stay safe and settle into the new routine. Fall focuses on aspects such as agriculture and harvesting, history behind culture and hunting, traditional foods, and how to live off the land. As well, children will be taught to respect nature and animals.
The reason I bring this bear with me is because in my family, we connect to the bear's teachings through the ideas of healing and laughter.
Chad Solomon is a member of the Henvey Inlet First Nation in Ontario.
Now to say hi rabbits in Ojibwe or Anishinaabe-Moin where I come from, can everyone wave to him and say, Ani Wabos?
Growing up listening to his grandfather's stories, Solomon now travels across the country to continue this legacy of educating and entertaining kids when it comes to the history of Aboriginal culture.
Savis can take really big footsteps. With your own feet, show me how wide a step you can take. Perfect.
Solomon's program Rabbit and Bear Paws is the comical adventures of two brothers learning important life lessons through traditional native teachings.
Bear Paws in our stories is only 10 years old.
Rabbit and Bear Paws was brought to Saskatoon as part of Aboriginal Storytelling Month through the Saskatoon Public Library.
The role of the public library in the community is to provide access to information, to education, to culture, recreation. And so Aboriginal Storytelling Month is an opportunity to learn about the Aboriginal culture.
Dorothy Mayo is the president of the Saskatchewan Indian Cultural Centre and agrees that educating both Aboriginal and non-Aboriginals is the first step in keeping their traditions alive.
It's a way that we share our culture to help our First Nations children learn more about who they are.
In the English language, we call them Sasquatch. In the Anishinaabe language, we call them Savi.
In those legends, there are very important cultural teachings that we pass on. The whole idea of respect, as an example, that's an important part of our teaching. And also being able to appreciate each other and have tolerance for each other as individuals and the differences that we have.
Boys and girls, can everyone clap for Brenda?
It really strengthens the identity of First Nations children to be able to see someone from their community come out and share with the rest of their classmates some of these wonderful events and stories and contributions that First Nations can make to Canadian society.
For more programs happening throughout the city, make sure to visit saskatoonlibrary.ca and sicc.sk.ca.
Bear Paws, wake up, buddy. No.
For Go Saskatoon, I'm Janella Hamilton.
Hold up. So this is Rabbit's little baby brother.